Majita, the problem back in the day was the fact that maybe in Fetoju and Danda Wukasi, Majita Shimaholo, yeah. If you look up Papa Fed, you're sniffing a little bit of cocaine, you know, you live in a high life. Right now, Fetundwana and Malitinyana sniffing cocaine at the age of fucking 13. They're sniffing cat, they're taking crystal meth. They're fucking, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, and at some point, I was part of the problem because shit, dog. I've been doing drug deal and gangster rap ever since.
This is one of those stories that never started. This is one of those stories that never started. This ain't one of those. This ain't one of those stories.
Yo, this is Apu Sebekedi, and you're on WorldWideWebbPodcast. Stories from the World Wide Web with Untitled Web. Holla.
Your fan base is pigeon through the new hype. My fan base is loading up a new pipe. I guess you think we taking rap back to new heights. We taking back rap. It's a new heist. Shout out to all my homeboys all the time. Shout out to all my homeboys doing time. With no chance of parole, cause Mataka made a plan. I didn't know the roll.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Brand new episode, and we are chilling here with a very special guest. It's the second episode of this podcast. It's the World Wide Web podcast, and this is stories from the World Wide Web where we get change makers, you know, the heroes of yesteryear, you know, the legends, the heroes of today, you know, the legends of today, the heroes of tomorrow, and the legends of tomorrow. And today, I'm chilling with a very special guest. This man is, you know, his name is not in the streets that much, but, you know, he's most talked about when it comes to, you know, the movement of Motswako. But we get into that. But today I'm chilling with, you know, a notable person in this industry, guys. This man is a virtuoso of note. This man is a genius. This man is a legend in the making. And, you know, he's the type that would actually lead the room and actually tell everybody that we're gonna put in work today and we're gonna make this thing happen. Everybody's gonna shut up and you're gonna take my lead and the work gets done, guys. And you know what's crazy about all of that is that at the end of it all, when the product is done, he doesn't want any credit. He doesn't want to take any, you know, I wouldn't say accountability, but he doesn't want to take the limelight. And I love that about you, my brother, that the fact that you're so humble, the fact that you're so chilled, and, you know, we'll get into your story a bit more.
I actually accept the credibility.
Yes, sir.
The credit.
Yes, sir.
I take the accountability if things go wrong, but my job is to actually give the limelight. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, I love that, bro. And
that,
you know,
you
it's an honor for me, bro, to be sitting here with you, bro, and
thank you very
just
much.
to chop it up with you.
Yeah.
And you know, I wanna start with you, bro, because a lot of people have heard, you know, the name, have seen the name, you know, Apu Sebekedi, you know, have seen it in credits, have seen it, you know, here and there. But I want to know, we would like to know, where did it all start for you, bro? Where did it all start?
Here in Klerksdorp. I'm a Klerksdorp baby. I was raised in Klerksdorp. Klerksdorp gave birth to me, but Mufftown gave me the education that I needed. Or Mufftown helped me shape my creative side of things. But it all started here. It all started here, honestly speaking. Obviously, natural talent and and persistence of trying to do things and whatever. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I remember the first time I went to studio. The first time I was in a real recording studio, funny enough, I was actually in the biggest recording studio in Africa. That's BRS. Toadie's mom took us there.
Oh, wow.
I was in primary school, right? And then years later, the first time I get into a studio and somebody's going to record something, you know what I mean? And it's going to be hip-hop, it was Toadie. And it was here, not Klerksdorp, right? So it all started here, and then Trouble Teen, Klerksdorp just wasn't working for me. And then I left Klerksdorp, went to my gang, and I just found myself completely.
And when did you know that, like, you know, we all exposed to music at some point? I know the first time I tried to attempt to,
Yeah.
grab the pen is when I
Yeah.
watched 8 Mile,
Yeah. I've
Eminem.
always known. You see, my thing is
Yeah.
I've always known, and everybody around me has always known in some form or fashion. But for me, it wasn't even about rap. I mean, my first memory in my head, like if I close my eyes
Yeah.
and I try to think of the first thing that I remember as a kid, the first thing I remember is Quincy Jones' Kula Matari. I just hear it, and then it's me at the window and my uncle is picking me up, who was just like a super great influence, because he was a beast. Like, I think 90% of everything that I am and what I'm doing right now is the watered down version of what my uncle did, or
shit.
what he was musically, and it was just between him and I. Like him and I, there was a point where I was grown up enough to have a beer, and I'd visit him, and we'd chill under a tree, or chill and whatever his place, and we'd just go at it a cappella, and we'd just create.
Ooh.
So
And this was like, how old were you at this point?
dude, man, I'm just talking like, I'm saying like, I was like 15, 16, 17, like run about there, you know what I mean? When a nigga was just like, okay, you can have a court, but and if I find out, that type thing. But I have always been that musical kid. I've always just been that musical kid. Michael Jackson, Bobby McFerrin, Beethoven, Bach. Dude, me and my uncle used to get into arguments about freaking who's better, Michael Jackson or Prince. And it's like argument, me and him are not talking for like 2 months.
Damn.
It's that bad. It's that bad.
It's that deep.
That bad.
It's
My
that deep.
uncle was Prince as fuck. I was Michael Jackson all the way. I've got an older brother and an older sister who are just exposing me to hip hop.
Yeah, man.
I've got my dad who's into jazz, classical music, and all the avant-garde stuff. I've got my uncle who's bumping the soul, the blues, the soul and the nice poppy stuff from the 70s, 80s. I've got my mom who's bumping Gibson Gente, how long. Dog, it was just, there was just a lot of music in the house. A lot. Like, I'm one of those kids by Lorenkinja. Like right now, I'm not sure, honestly, who I'm bumping to. But yes, the new Kendrick I'm bumping, but I'm bumping one song at a time over and over again.
Sir.
But I don't generally bump to rap. It's funny. I don't bump to rap at all. Not that much. Not as much as I'm supposed to for somebody that creates as much rap as I do.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned a lot of international influences, like some of Zanzi, Africa, like were you more inclined into those as well?
No, dude. First of all, Fela Kuti is my musical father. That guy cannot do no fucking wrong for me. Like,
Sure.
Fela is God.
Yes, sir.
Fela is God.
Yes, sir.
Locally, man, Dade Philip Tabani and his boys, they were doing some crazy stuff. Gibson Gente was insane as well. I was raised on How Long. Actually, I was bumping How Long on my way here.
Oh, yeah?
Africa Sing, which is one song that I'm probably gonna do a remake of. Like some fucking insane shit, dog.
Oh, shit.
By the way, we're in like one of my favorite places, Motswako Museum at the gallery, and I love all the shit that they're doing behind. And funny enough, the curator, Vuisile Bentlel, I grew up with him. He's like an older brother to me. And a huge portion of how I approach music is based on some of the things that he used to teach me, because he's a fine artist.
Yes, sir.
So he taught me about Bodi Chambo, Mango, all of these guys, Basquiat, and I was like, young, dog. So I draw inspiration from a lot of places, but it's dope that we're here. And I hope that you guys actually show a lot of this place and what this place can do. And a lot of people should be coming here and actually purchasing art from here, because the more art is bought here, the more art can come in, the more art is coming out of Klerksdorp. You know what I mean?
True.
Fuck it, I'm loving this guy. What's his name? Evodia, my name, he's fucking dope. Like, he's been shocking me throughout the whole time. Please, guys, come here.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, you speak about the art, bro, which is totally dope, I want to dive into the music a bit,
Go ahead.
Like, the whole state of Motswako, you literally saw, like, as you say, the first time you hopped into a studio, the first time you heard an artist make actual music in a studio, hip hop,
or some
was
form
when
of hip hop.
Tody was actually putting in the work, you know?
They were working on the first Morafe album here in Klerksdorp.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they worked on the first the first Morafe album, all those demos and all of that. I think like a huge portion of that album, like 90% of that album was cut here.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean?
You were there?
I was there. I was there for recording, the remix, the whole thing with Gomes' verse on it. I don't think it made the album. It did hit the streets and the underground for a little some, but that was the first time I saw somebody get in studio and start rapping and whatever. And I had already been out on these streets, Motlexdorp, but just rapping my fucking lungs off and just going buck wild with it, like not giving a fuck. I did not, cause look, you can't care what people think. You can't care what people think when you're there and you're in the moment and you see it or you're heading somewhere. You cannot care what people think. You know what I mean? You have to just be in that state. Yeah, I want to do this. I don't care if they get it. I don't care if they do. I want to do this. So yeah.
And what are some of the experiences that you took from, being around the movement at that time, seeing the birth of Motswako?
I saw Motswako from a first-hand experience. I was a part of Lefoko when I was a part of the thing. If you guys know Lefoko, they are as legendary as like Slaggies in terms of what it did for the underground, and that's where I thrived. That's where I made change. That's where I made my name on the underground, Motswako. And the underground, Motswako, was created via Lefoko. It was basically like the Slaggies, Northwest, Komafike, and it just literally man. I mean, Morafi, before they blew, they went to that. They were performing their stuff there. I remember Mojo. He was performing his stuff there. The first time I heard Mojo was performing there, dog. You feel me? And there were great artists that came out of there. KT, aka Mojote, Cassper. Cassper came up watching me perform there. No, he never did that. There's guys like Bo Bexy, there's guys like Bo TPP Junkie Bex, who is just phenomenal. He's just a freaking phenomenal MC. You know what I mean? And a lot of people. So whilst Bo Morafe, Tuxi, Jabba, and Mojo were killing it in Joburg, what we had, or what they had, was to say go Joburg was, there's an army coming behind us. There's an army coming behind us, you understand? Yeah. And we were there, and we were actually ripping it. And we really represented, and we really took things to the next level in terms of what the sound of Motswako was, what the game of Motswako was, battling a Motswako, or in that Mengo motion, whatever. And how I managed to get out of stand up above all of that is when I finally realized, oh fuck, I'm from Klerksdorp. I speak a different kind of lingo. Yeah. So meaning my spectrum of rhyme is just broader. Totally. It's just broader. You know what I mean? In terms of pronunciation and whatever. So this is basically how it went down. And at a certain point, I was just killing it in terms of the mic and everything. But the music just kept on calling me further. And then I went to Mabane and I studied music.
What came first, dog? The beats or the rapping?
The rapping, because that was the most immediate way of actually expressing myself. But every time I went and tried to get beats from people, I wasn't getting the right kind of beats. So I went to Mabana. I majored in music theory because I wanted to get into composition and conducting. So fortunately, my lecturer at the time, Mr. Hukenya, God bless him, God rest his soul, he was like, okay, sharp, so when are you going to focus on theory? Because you have to get theory and then you have to pick an instrument. So I picked piano. And from piano, I left, started making beats. We made a legendary mixtape on the streets called Lefoko Spring Sessions Volume 1. If you have it and you have the original, holla at me, because that thing is worth a lot of money right now. If you have the original disc and every single song plays, you literally sitting on a gold mine, because that was actually the first compilation ya Motswako before Limonka Motswako Tape Volume 1. We dropped it in September. It was spring sessions, and I think Limonka dropped in like October or whatever.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? It's just that Limonka had more exposure. I mean, like, we talk him and I often nowadays, and it's something that he acknowledges. It's like, yo, me back at the time, I didn't know. You know? And from there, you know, came the new beasts from the street, from the Northwest, you know, your KT, MGT, Mohote came out. Cassper Vest came from there. Subat was something that I birthed along with Bexela Lome and Kit Kat, Lenyora and Easy Lab, and we created an avenue for ourselves. I mean, some legendary people came out of there. One of the greatest producers and beat makers in Africa, Mwanamundu III, Akili Black. Yo, guy's phenomenal. He's the guy that taught me how to make beats. When Akili was learning Reason, I was learning piano, and I was learning music theory. So he'd teach me Reason, and I'd teach him the piano and whatever. And then I left, I came back, and they were sampling, and it's like, what? And then they taught me how to sample, and it's like, what? Do these niggas know the music that I have access to, or the music that I grew up with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it just flipped everything upside down. So that's where it came from.
Dog, let me get this straight, bro. Wait, did you make the One Sauce beat?
Yeah.
What was going through your mind, dog?
I produced that whole album.
No way.
Yeah, I produced that whole.
Oh my word.
That.
Oh my word.
That beat.
Wait,
that,
what was going through your mind, dog?
No,
like,
it's
how do you
not-
make that?
There's a lot more. Here's the funny story, right? That album was released in 2016.
Oh,
I
before
had-
you continue, my brother. Guys, that particular video, One Sauce, went on to win an award in France.
4
4.
at the Cannes Film Festival. The only thing higher than that is a Grammy or an Oscar. We won a gold.
We are in the presence of greatness, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the highest. It's the highest award-winning hip hop song in the country. That I can definitely tell you.
What was going through your mind when you
Actually,
made the beat, bro?
wait. If there isn't anybody that's won a Grammy for a hip hop song in Africa, if there isn't a hip hop song that's won a Grammy, that is basically the highest award-winning hip hop song in Africa. And the chances of winning as many awards that song won on that day is like being struck by lightning like 6 or 7 times, because we beat 45,000 songs from around the world in one award. I beat 45,000 songs from around the world. And not just like Africa, no, from around the world. You know,
How do you make a beat like that?
you don't you there is no formula.
What was going through your mind? What do you?
I was
think,
actually
dog?
making it for my boy Tainoko.
Oh yeah.
And like I was about to say, the album was released in 2016.
Yes, sir.
Or the song was released in 2016. But the beat was made like 4 or 5 years earlier.
What?
And I had been saying no, and I had been saying no to some people hearing it. I had gotten no from certain people. Fuck, he's not gonna be mad. But Tuxi was one of the people that got it, and he's like, yo, this is my beat, but he never did anything to it. He never bought it, but he was like, yo, this is my beat. Never did anything to it. Tainoko never did anything to it. I think and I sat on it for a long time, but I believed in it so much that I sat on it, and then I just chilled. And then at the time when it was right, a DJ friend of mine who heard it was like, yo, man, give me this beat, I'm working on a compilation. I was like, okay, cool. And he passed it to another MC friend of mine, or let me say like a colleague who's just literally become a very close friend that I can talk to every now and again. I gave it to him, and I was working on Khuli's album, and I was like, nah, dog, like, yo, you gotta give me that beat back. Like, this is not gonna happen, you know? But the weird thing about that song and the video is the fact that nobody's ever noticed that song was actually recorded after the video.
Wait, the song was done after the video?
Yeah, the video was shot in Ghana by a fucking legendary freaking director. He's just recently done a movie called Riding with Sugar. He's a Hollywood director from SA. His name is from SA via Zimbabwe. His name is Sinukonera. He's freaking awesome. He's done insane freaking campaigns with Nike and whatever. And he's done movies that have had the guy from Lucius Lyon. There's a movie at Lucius Lyon where he's a swimming coach. From back in the day, he did that. So basically what happened was we had the hook. Yeah, that beat. Right? And we went and put the hook on it. And then they went and they met and they were playing the project. Along with Bosoon, because it was a project that was driven and backed by Absolute Vodka. So they heard the record, and while they were bumping some of the other records, this beat just kept on playing. And Soon was like, yo, this is the one. Damn. It's like, yo, we're going to Ghana, we're going to shoot a music video for this song. So if you pay attention to the music video, nobody's rapping and nobody's singing. At no point is anybody rapping or singing.
But it fits, bro. Like the production, Jay.
So they got
the sound, the beat.
So the video was shot over there.
Yeah.
That's how I managed to get guys like Sako D on that song. That's how we managed to get Victoria Kimani on that song. That's how that song came about. And then when they came back, all we had were like Sako D's ad libs and his input onto the song, because he heard the beat and it's like, yo, this is too much, but I want to do something on it. And he was just putting his ad libs and whatever, and and just reacting to it.
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to record at some point, but there wasn't enough time. And then they came back, and when they came back, we sat down, got into the studio, and we watched the video. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, let's go record. And we're recording the song with the video playing. I swear to God. But the fire wasn't blue yet. Because most people go, because when people ask me, I'm like, yo, the video with Khuli with the blue fire.
Sure.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I want to take it back to, still on Motswako, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
You literally saw the transition of, Jabba, Monka, and, where it was pioneered.
Yeah.
And it transitioned to, and I stand corrected.
Go ahead.
Straata came.
I created
from
Straata.
Motswako.
I created Straata.
You created Straata.
Yeah.
What was the influence and what was the idea? What was the vision?
It was a bit selfish in a way, because I looked at Swiss Beats, I looked at Dr. Dre, let me say Swiss Beats and Dr. Dre and Pharrell and them, right?
Yeah.
And my one focus was Dr. Dre, because I knew I had a unique sound and I wasn't going to change it to conform to anything that was happening, right? And the things that the youth at that time were going through were far detached from the stuff that was Motswako. It was far detached from Tswaka, you ain't heard the old thing. It was far detached from Munatitwa. We had far deeper and darker issues that we were going through. And it was now at a time where we had come back, I had come back Mutlex Dope. I mean, the birth of Straata was just basically GAT. I created their sound. Going like Hesh and Tainoko. I literally molded their sound, because they were like gangster rap in Motswako. You know what I mean? And then when I got back home, obviously there was MDB, who I was partially, when I met MDB when he's like more 14, 15 or somewhere around there, he'll say it better. And the first day I met him, I was like, yo man, you Mandlera's dope boy. And Combs was like, no, you Mandlera's dope boy. And like, fuck yeah. And we've had a very cool relationship since then. And then there was another artist who was actually around there when we were formulating Straata. And so we realized that there are things still looking Motswako is only Mafikeng. And this is where now things get interesting. And this is where earlier on, where I was like, I have a very complicated relationship with radio, and especially radio within the Northwest, is because if you're on TV and anybody who was Twan, they're automatically from Mafikeng. If you think about it, there's nobody on TV that's from Klexdorp, that's from Ottosdal, that's from even characters. And actually, I'm speaking about characters, right? So they'd rather have a chick who's from Pitori and West Pitori, and they'll say, no, she's from Mafike, and you're like, what the fuck? You know? So Motswako automatically, when you say it's a Motswako, automatically you're from Mafike. So Motswako was attached to Mafike too much, and I had left Mafike because I had reached my ceiling, and that's something that a lot of guys don't seem to get. You need to get the fuck out of town if you've reached the ceiling.
Oh shit.
You can't be loyal to a city to an extent this is where I'm at and this is where I'm only ever going to be. Because, Kazi, I can tell you this right now for free. The world is bigger than you fucking think. You need to get the fuck out of town and you need to go experience. I mean, I know so many artists and I know so many MCs and fine artists, guys by shooting, guys by etsang by loring. For example, let me show an example. MDB left Lexdop, hit Bram, and he fucking went to the top of the fucking thingy. When I got to fucking Joburg and I met some of the guys some of the producers that MDB was going to introduce me to, I was already known to these producers because there's a fucking army of fucking MCs. There's a fucking army of producers. Go Bram alone. Go Bram alone. Like, you ain't shit in your city alone unless you look everybody on a national scale. Yeah. And then unfortunately for me, I had done so much stuff locally. By the time I left and I went to outside the Northwest or outside of home, motherfuckers already knew my sound, but only on the underground. So the people that needed to know my sound were the people that were in tune with what is happening and were the people that could look at it and respect it. Right. So I left my Mafikeng because I had reached my ceiling. I couldn't sell a beat for more than a $1.5. I couldn't, there was only that much pool of artists that I could work with. There was only so much experiences that I could express. So I came back home and I gave up everything. Never be afraid to walk away from something to go start afresh. Never be afraid to do that. If you know you've reached your ceiling, you must always be ready to walk away and just go, fuck it, I'm going to do it elsewhere. And start from the ground up. Majita Paya, they have their pride, they have fear, and they have so many things that are just cock-blocking them, where it's that they fear leaving their comfort zone and going to do something else, and going somewhere else, or to start afresh somewhere else, or to become, or to start from the bottom and become king somewhere else. And so when I got back home, I realized some of the issues that were going on here. Yeah. And some of the stuff that I had been talking about from Mafikeng, now that they were amplified. So I came back home and I realized, we can't be Motswako. We are not Motswako for shit. We don't sound like that. We need our own avenue. We need our own voice. So instead of saying, Straata is the new, it's not a new genre. It's just a new page in Motswako. It's just a new page. And before we even dropped the first record, Motswako, I think I met Todi, I got his approval. I met Tux on the very same day and I was breaking down Straata to him and he's like, I got his approval. Mojo, I got Mojo's approval. The late Jabba, I got his approval. Khuli, I got his approval and some, go with the Straata shit. And we ran. And it was no shit and it was no disadvantage. Or the MDB was doing his thing there, I was doing his thing there, and we were running with it simultaneously, So Straata is not necessarily about Lexdorp. Straata is the new voice of the Northwest, and we're dealing with some of the issues that are happening in the Northwest: drug addiction, prostitution, crime, corruption within the structures of our offices or our governing offices or and the provincial whatever, because hey man, if you're in Lexdorp, ANC is a gang, just like my VLA, just like my SVK, my Al Qaeda, my AMI. The ANC is a fucking gang here. Anybody that's going to tell you any different is part of the gang. So we have far deeper issues. Our struggles are far deeper. Sure. Majita, the problem back in the day was the fact that maybe if you look up Papa Fedi, you're sniffing a little bit of cocaine, you live in a high life. Right now, you're not sniffing cocaine at the age of fucking 13. You're sniffing cat, they're taking crystal meth. They're fucking, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. So, and at some point, I was part of the problem because shit, dog, I've been doing drug deal and gangster rap ever since. Because that's what I knew, that's what I came from. Mm-hmm. You understand what I mean? So it just came to a point where is that we had to express the issues of what's going on with the youth Northwest and dealing with the issues that day. And the fact is, I'm not from Mafikeng, and I give Wistswana the same way as Auta Mafikeng, and that's why I have a complicated relationship with radio. Yes. That's where my complicated relationship with radio is. Because right now, as a kid from the Northwest, or not Northwest, me as a kid from Lexdorp, I can't hear anybody on radio that sounds like they're from Lexdorp. For shit. Not even on a scale you're in. They'll tell you, but as soon as you go direction you're Okni and you pass Okni, as soon as you pass Tehani and you go direction, it's Khuli. So what the fuck are we? You get what I mean?
Yes,
so when am I gonna hear somebody that sounds like me on radio? On radio. Why? How the fuck is a kid from Flagstop going to know that he can have a career on radio because he doesn't sound like Stwana Sagomafike, which is what is considered Stwana. Stwana that's in the textbook is Stwana Samafike. It's like saying autism John Dollar can't be on course.
Yeah.
When Buddha was on course, if I'm not wrong. And Buddha is Joburg as fuck. Oi, oi. Feel me?
Yes, sir.
So you can't have somebody on radio be on radio. We can't. I haven't heard somebody who sounds like they're from Kimberley and I can identify that they're from Kimberley on radio. So we're detached. Kimberley kile kwa although you know then keep but bo Freiberg so there's no uniting of what it is to be Motswako, to be somebody that's from the Northwest, fully encapsulated on radio. Not even like something like UFM embraces different forms of Setswana. And I get beef. I recently put out a voice note, and it rotated among some people on radio. I got a response from somebody, and he thought it very arrogant. Well, I responded Setswana. Although Nikis Nexa week Setswana completely, I was being multilingual. So he responded Setswana as a way of putting me down, but he wasn't saying it to me directly. He was responding to the person that gave him the voice note. So there is a hierarchy of who is Northwest and what is Northwest. So that's where Straata comes in. So we kick like some real shit that is not fucking Motswako, but is Motswako. That is not Mufftown. And there are people by law in their Straata from Mufftown. Pex is from Mufftown and he's Motswako. Tainoko's from Mufftown and he's Straata. Kid Kat is from Mufftown and he's Straata. There's guys like Streets. He's Straata like fuck. So it's not only a Clarktown thing, but it's a new breed of MCs and a new hunger. And it's a new expression of what's going on within the Northwest. And that's where Straata is.
And I believe that, bro, in like the entire industry, with MDB paving the way, you paving the Straata itself, I truly believe that, it has solidified, its presence, in the game. Yeah. But what I want to know, bro, is that, like, in terms of you personally, having pioneered the sound, what's the plan for, 5-year, 10-year, vision in terms of the sound? Do you think it's going to change?
It is. It has to change. There has to be somebody that's going to take that's going to hear this and say, I'm fully Straata and I make Straata beats. Because it's not like in Nagili one. There's Last Fiend, there's Sly Beats, there's freaking Keita Chankov, aka Van Sweet. There's freaking Tutankhamun. There's freaking there's guys that are freaking making intense Straata. And the people that I just freaking mentioned right now, those are just the producers. I'm not talking about the MCs. I'm talking about King Maada. Like, if you think about it, Clarktown is one of the most dangerous cities within the Northwest. And this guy's from one of the most dangerous he's from one of the most dangerous townships within this city, and he's from the most dangerous section in that township. King Maada ain't playing, and he's lyrically on point. You look at Malume Nel, you look at Kalambo, Kila Rasta, who's conscious but he's rude boy as fuck. You look at people like Bo Last Fiend again as an artist. You look at people like Bo D-Locks. You look at people like Bo Mukhela Motsatsi who are coming through and they're actually doing poetry and they are actually doing a different side of this thing, but they're doing it from the perspective of the streets. We're an army, dog, and most people, what they don't realize is the fact that just like with Motswako, there will be some that come ahead, but we'll open the door.
Yes, sir.
We'll open the door. Because, man, I've always brought people with me. I've always carried a load with me, regardless. So what it's going to be in 10 years' time, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be in 10 years' time. But I know within 10 years' time, there'll be a kid from Klerksdorp who's going to be able to stand up proud and say, yo, man, I'm dropping a Straata record. That's how you end up with drill. That's how you end up with trap. It's because you start being able to identify with yourself. You start being able to look in the mirror and say, oh, that's me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I fucks with that, bro. And I want to know, bro, what took so long with 2Player, bro? What took so long? We waited, you know, and I know it's hard, but...
Deals in between, he was too hot. He was just way too fucking hot. And then the reason it dropped the way it dropped and sounded the way it sounded is because there was no fucking time to even just go and try and find the mixed versions of Ing and Ing or whatever. We just really had something that was fucking hot and it had to fucking go. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And then another thing was the fact that we had lost, Tukelo had lost 3 of his friends, and I had lost, with the 3, I had lost one, another younger brother, just like Tukelo, see? And it was just it was just an airy week because Bozi died on the Sunday Masa. And on the Wednesday, I remember it was a public holiday on the Wednesday when we were trying to go to the memorial. I went to go try see a friend of mine called AD, and he's a best friend actually. And he had died too. So there's a record there, I think it's the remix Yatswada that we did. And I said, I just buried my best friend at Inokadi 19 week before that, me and NDB Sefel to Z. That's some real life shit. I ain't playing. That's some real life shit, and that is where Straata comes from. It does not hit if it's not from a genuine place, because there's certain principles that I work with in terms of making a song. It has to be genuine. It has to be very genuine situations or real situations. Genuine emotion behind it. Genuine lyric. Genuine music, and now you have a genuine song, so now you can go knock them the fuck out. Those are my principles every single time I make a song. Because if it's not real and if it's not genuine and nothing about it is genuine, then it means you're just making shit for the fuck of it. It's not gonna last. So the album was just so real, and I had taken over from the guys that he had been working with, and I started recording the rest of it and directing the rest of it. But the truth of the fact is the fact that there were way too many deals on the table. And when finally he got the right deal, he made the right partnership or business arrangement, which is something that I can't get into. But whatever situation that he sorted out, by that time the thing had just been like, fuck, it's too long, man.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking drop that shit. I remember us deciding, well, he's fucking dropping the shit. Remember, we were at Rhapsodies. It was me, him, and Khuli at Rhapsodies. It's like, fuck it, we're dropping this shit today. Fuck yeah. Yeah, we're dropping this shit. Fuck yeah. And then I got a call or some niggas robbed me in the hood. So I had to run to the phone. That's Klerksdorp for you. That's Klerksdorp for you. That's Klerksdorp for you, dog. That's Klerksdorp for you. So that was the whole deal with the situation. But that's one of the reasons why it took so long for us to just drop 2Player.
Much respect, bro. That was like that's where I was introduced to, like,
shout out to Subs.
Work.
Yes, shout out to Subs, yeah. Shout out to Subs anyway, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's where I was introduced to like, you know, a taste of what Apu can really do. I know you've worked on a couple of things. What are some of the big projects that you've worked on as well? Okay, I know you can't mention a lot, but
I can't mention what I just worked on and what's coming out, or what hasn't come out. You must never do that. I learned my lesson a long time ago about that. But I musically directed, recorded, and produced a huge portion of Khuli's One Source. That was the big album that I did. I creatively directed and recorded and produced a huge portion of 2Player in terms of what it is, and just tied it up. Apart from that, I've been laying low. I did something of my own called Onga Island Previews Volume 1. Onga Island is coming out, like, not the preview, like, it's coming out. And it's going to be called No Man is Exempt. And it's going to be fire.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be fire.
It's going to be, wait. Commercially, you know, nobody knows.
I'm gonna go there.
I know you got a call, you were like, fuck yeah, dog, I'm gonna send you the beat for this.
Nobody knows. nobody
story
knows. I made nobody knows. My boy had been in jail. My boy had gotten arrested right before. This is my best friend, one of my best friends. Can't say his name, please. With all due respect. Those who know. Those who don't. It's slack time for you. He had gotten arrested and he wasn't getting bail, and it was a very hectic case, looking like he might do some years. So I was angry at him. I was pissed off at him because he was going through these things and niggas and whatever, just trying to, But I did the beat. I got home and I just did the chorus. Nobody said we'd be here. Nobody said it'd be fair. Nobody, just to be clear, nobody, because nobody will ever. And it was also bittersweet because it was also about me and Tukelo's success. He was also going through some things as well. It was also about what him and I are going through, because in most cases, Tukelo is TK, MDB, sorry, for those who don't know. But in most situations, there's nobody else I can talk to about some of the industry bullshit that happens, that I go through. There's nobody else that I can relate, that I can trust as much as I can speak to him, because he can relate. He's from Flagstaff. Same thing with him. So nobody said we'd be here, as in nobody said Rikapopa, or nobody said we'd be in this bullshit. Nobody said, nobody, just to be clear, nobody. You know what I mean? And nobody said it would be fair. And then what most people don't know is that beat was floating around for like a year or two.
Oh, yeah?
It was supposed to be on the soundtrack for Riding with Sugar, because I had been working on the movie soundtrack and I'd been working on the movie at the time. And it didn't make it there. I sent it to Khuli. Matter of fact, I sent it to Khuli first. Went crazy, just didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Came back. KG was actually having an interview here.
Oh, yeah?
Right? And that night, me and Khuli were outside in his car, and I was bumping into him, and he was going backward. And it's like, what the fuck do I do here? And then a friend who's also a very huge fan of mine responded to one of Cassper's messages online. Yeah, yo, man, who should I work with? Or just hit me up on new material. And then this guy just sent Cassper a link of one of my videos, Sober. Cassper hollered at me. He's like, yo, I want this song. Can we put it on my album? I was like, let me talk to Mwana Munu III, because he's, my mentor, the guy that he's my sensei. He's fucking insane. And about a week in, I realized I'm not going to convince Cassper not to take the song, so I might as well send him beats. I sent him 7 beats. He kept quiet for about a week or two. He's a busy man. And then he sent me back like flames on that one. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then during lockdown, he was busy with the album. And then around about, I don't know, 3 weeks or so before the album dropped, he sent it back to me. He's like, dog, I've got Bass from Dreville and Youngster CPT on the shit. And ironically, at the time, MDB had also been doing some work with CPT. Like everybody that I've ever wanted to work with, I have worked with. Everybody. I've got 2 people that I want to work with that I haven't worked with. If I get these 2 people, I've worked with every single A-list MC in South Africa. And fortunately, everybody that has been on my stuff commercially is A-list. Victoria Kimani, A-list. Sakodi, A-list. CPT, God, A-list. Bass, A-list. Cass, A-list. Although I've done work like Cassper before. I've known Cassper for a while. I'd known him from years back. But there's some new stuff that you guys are going to hear. I'll let you guys hear some stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And then the sumo?
Woo! Hey!
Real hard.
Sugar.
Have you heard that shit?
Whoa, shit. Okay.
Shit got real hard.
Here's what's up.
Yeah.
So I'm a workaholic, right? Like I'm an extreme workaholic. Those who know me know that I always say online, I always tell you I sleep on Tuesday.
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I sleep on Tuesday. I
wanted to ask you about what's the deal about.
What? I sleep on Tuesdays.
Yeah, because I've seen that, dog.
For years I had been going through. Okay, all right. Let me just be straight. Let me start it here. 1. My fear of not working or not being able to work is this. When I'm not working, and pay attention and keep track, I'm out there working harder, working better, working with better sound, working with better engineering, writing better lyrics, using the same sample, and I'm working and I'm listening to me going, swag hot money. So meaning, my biggest fear is that Real Quick was done the same night as, how do I explain it?
Yeah.
Obviously it was the very same emotion and it was the very same issue that was in mind. You know, shit get real quick, shit get real hard, and I'm talking real hard, you know, because shit does get real quick. So like I said, like you niggas didn't hear my verse on that record. I break bread with every single nigga that I starve with. I try to share my blessings, but I don't know who to start with. Cause real recognize real, and that's the realest statement. Skele me sikapala papa, I don't ever issue statements. Just let me do me and make you now. Give me my payment. I find it hard to play pretentious with these friends I'm making. You rap along with them, there's no beef, so I won't name them. But if I shine a bit, they get mad cause I will name them. But this is not me passing judgment or laying down blame. I'm trying to justify who's more deserving of the wealth and fame. And let it be known and let it be said, I only spoke what I felt. Poker face, only play in the hand that I was dealt. I've never been a gimmick or mimic, real niggas feel it. I'll never sell my soul or give up on my fighting spirit. And no, see there's no fucking limit. I'll wage war against giants with an army of midgets. Not even the realest niggas can escape being labeled bitches. Cause even bitch niggas got bitch niggas that they get real with. And even the realest niggas snitch given the realest situation. Don't believe me? Ask any nigga that's locked in prison. But even if I don't make it, then at least I know I tried. You take over the world and I'll take over the sky. I hardly use my head, it all comes from the heart. And being the illest was never the plan from the start, and it will never be. Real quick, and has never been. Real quick. I'm talking real hard. Man, I'm talking real hard. Sometimes it's fucking overrated being the bigger fucking man. Fuck you think I'm happy being as underrated as I am. Visionary, look how fucking overlooked I am. Vision blurry, look at what we did to. I never like saying that line.
Oh yeah? Damn, that was the verse?
Yeah, because our vision was blurry and look what we did to Jabba, man. Our vision was blurry with him. We murked Jabba, dog. We murked Jabba. Real Quick was like a cry because we murked Jabba. Funny enough, when I was supposed to go work with Jabba, we spent 3 days talking.
Just talking. 3
days, 2 nights talking. Drinking, talking, and just playing music when we were supposed to work. We never got to work. We never got to record. Now, there was so much that he said to me. There was so much that he gave back, and there was so much that I expressed to him. And one things that I said to him was, dog, we need you in this shit, dog. And I was emotional saying that shit. And a motherfucker got on fucking Anele, and the first thing that he said, the first question that Anela asked him, and you check out the interview online. And he's like, no, man, some kid from Flagtown came through. He was real cool throughout the rest of the day. And like halfway through the night, he's like, yo, man, we need you in the game. And I wasn't playing. An element of Jabba was needed in the game. Right now, we don't have a Jabba. What's happening? You feel me?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not saying that I'm the new Jabba or anything like that, but what's happening? I'm just here to unite the game one more again. Straight up.
And you talk about mentorship, the people that mentored you. Who else had your back? Who else are you listening to right now? Who's telling you the right things in your ear right now?
For a while, Tainoko, obviously, has always been there. Wanamundu III has always been a steering wheel. Khuli has always been a steering wheel. Tux is a steering. When I want to say no, I need to go speak to somebody that says no a lot, and that's Tux. Tux says no, dog. You feel me? He says no to a lot of shit. My lawyer, obviously. My woman, obviously, like every man needs to have a woman that's gonna hear him the fuck out, and or every man needs to have a woman that's gonna hear that he's gonna hear the fuck out.
Yes, sir.
And some friends of mine some very close friends of mine who just don't really give a fuck about being out there in public and They're just really friends, just like genuine friends. Those are the people that I'm really listening to. One of the most important things about success is the fact that once you find yourself in a position where you're successful and you can't have your closest friends being able to tell you, fuck you, you're wrong, then it means that you're lost and you're gone and you don't have the right people around you.
Yes, sir.
That's how most people end up in situations that they end up in. You know?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's it. But apart from that, there's other individuals that I listen to that are outside the physical realm. I know you want to go there, but
yeah, we about it.
okay, sharp. Ask it, and I'll answer it in the best way that I can. Go ahead.
Your spiritual journey, my brother.
Yeah.
I want us to. This is where we get to know.
Yeah, because there's a side of me that you've seen that most people don't know. Yeah.
And there's the side of Apu, which is, the family man, which is something that I want to break down. Your spiritual journey, which is something that I want us to go into. And, lastly, I want to know in terms of which I believe is going to tie in with what you're going to talk about in terms of your spiritual journey. I meditate. I do a lot of, meditation. So I want to know in terms of, but we'll break it down in terms of what do you do when, the world gets so overwhelming, and you just need, a way to just, suppress that feeling. What do you do? What do you go back to in terms of, how do you deal with anger, those kind of things. So I don't know.
Oh, I'm an angry motherfucker. You should listen to my shit. All right.
So yeah, let's start with
all right.
any one of those.
Let me start it here. Creation is a very divine thing. Creation is godly. Right, so if you're creative, you have to have your spirituality or your divinity on point. So it doesn't matter what it is that you do, you're Buddhist, you do ditapelo tsa hao as a Muslim or whatever, but you need to have your spirituality aligned so that you can continue to be creative. There's no way you can create without being spiritually or divine. You have to have some form of divinity. As to what I do when I'm going through whatever, it's something that I wouldn't discuss on the mic at this current situation, but my spiritual journey has been a very personal one because it's been a very personal one. I think it's not something that I go out and speak of. It's something that you'll see it and you'll understand. That's as far as I can go. It's not something that I'm ready to just go and speak on like out like that. When it comes to me being a family man, I mean, Christ, man, my daughter saved my life. My woman saved my life. You know what I mean? My family saved my life. I'm foul as fuck. I'm foul as fuck. But when it comes to being creative, when it comes to being what it is that I do and who I am,
yes, sir,
I do it for my daughter. My daughter's name is Pina. She's the most beautiful song I've ever made. My woman is just my DD. She's my roots, or let me say my family are my roots, and my woman is my stem to whatever I blossom and whatever changes I go throughout my life, whether I'm in autumn, whether I'm in spring or whatever. So that's basically it. But if you're going to be a creative, if you're going to be somebody that wants to be successful, what you need to do, you need to be able to be grounded and rooted. So you need to have firm roots, have family, whether it's family that you are given or it's family that you acquire yourself. You need to have family. You need to have it. And then in terms of being a creative and in terms of being a successful individual, you need to have some level of spirituality attached to it, whatever it is that you do, because without spirituality, you are rather to all forms of evils that are around the world. And there are damn near evils around the world.
Bro, that's great. There's a lot that you just need to, make sure that you're aligned. And I want to know in terms of like
This is not what I thought this podcast was going to be, but let's go ahead.
so
But yes, go ahead.
what I want to know in terms of like you spoke about family, you spoke about
Yeah.
your daughter in particular. What environment are you raising her in? What values are you teaching her?
She's raised in a very loving environment, an extremely loving environment, because if you meet my daughter, you're just gonna meet like the love that she gets from her mother and her father, from her mother's family and her father's family. That's basically, she's just raised with love around her, and she's just a beaming light of whatever that is she's surrounded with. The one thing I try and do is, or not try and do, but what happens is I watch cartoons with my daughter.
Yeah.
Since I'm an animation head, you feel me? I play pretend with my daughter since I'm a creative. I play a lot, so there's so much. I'm a good dad. I don't know how I'm doing in the terms of being a father and all the other things, but in terms of being a dad, I think I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, she's daddy's little girl. She's daddy's little girl, But there's a narrative about black men that has been rotating for many decades and for close to a century right now, and it's the fact that we are deadbeat and we're doing what. What I'll tell you is, the generation of the 80s, the children that were born in the 80s, 90s, late 2000s, they've been changing that narrative for a while. We're good fucking fathers. We're good dads. So both men are trash, that's a lie. You feel me? Because damn near every nigga that I know that's a dad right now, they're fucking brilliant dads, man. Yeah, there's some assholes out there that are fucking out the game for Nakamontekama, but we know what it's like to be dads, man. Like, fuck everything else, because the mother's concerned about the father, the kid is concerned about the dad, and niggas are good dads out there. So I think it's about time that black women started protecting black men, because they haven't been able to protect black men in a long time. And the reason why black women haven't been able to protect black men in a long time is because black women were portrayed to be sexual objects, hoes, bitches, whatever. And we were supposed to follow through with that. Black women have been overly sexualized. But black men were overly sexualized first. Overtly sexualized first. We don't find like other races really attractive like that. It might be something racist that I'm saying, but black men have been shut down. Black fathers have been shut down. But nah, man, my generation and the generations after me, they're just changing that narrative, man. We're good fucking dads. We're fucking good dads, man. And we are gonna raise a bunch of children that are gonna be cool. We're good. We're brilliant. I think that everybody out there that's a black father who knows their kids, every single one of them, they should give themselves a round of applause.
Facts.
Feel me?
Yes, sir. And, in the beginning, you spoke about, seeing the world, exposing yourself to different places, knowing that, your environment is bigger than you think.
Yeah.
What is the importance of doing that with your child as well, to expose them, to let them travel, to let them see the world? What is the benefits?
The crazy thing is this, and it's a fucking big wake up call.
Yeah.
You find all these motherfuckers by Loring Kimfetu. Mautia Hono Ushima, Uma 2 point something, Uma 3 block in a weekend or in a night. But motherfuckers won't spend like fucking half of that money to go fishing or camping with their kids in their very same city or in their districts. You'll find yourself having a conversation with somebody where Loring King hasn't even left the borders of their city in like 5 years. Even worse, you'll find a nigga where Loring King hasn't been location within the past 2 years except going to court. So how are you gonna have a conversation with a motherfucker like that?
Dog.
So how are you gonna expect somebody like that to understand that Rongwana needs to leave the hood every now and again? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Sharp. So The most important thing about that is finding new experiences. So I find myself in a position where for the past like couple of years, slowly but surely, I won't find myself in a club as much as I'm supposed to. But you'll find my, I guess when I'm drinking at a friend's place, or I'm drinking at a fucking at a restaurant, Motswako. And if I drink late bells, well, fuck it. Yeah, I'm at a place and then it's in and out. I don't really do clubs. But a huge portion of my time is coming to museums like this. A huge portion of my time is me looking at different neighborhoods and going to express it to certain different places. Like, if you're a producer out there and you think, well, studios are dead, nah, my nigga, go build a studio and know that it's gonna be beyond Tabaya recording some nigga that's gonna spit a 16, because you can actually record the local church choir and make more money than you are gonna do with that cool motherfucker who's gonna come through with a bottle of Hennessy. Now mixing and mastering and pay you for that beat. You feel me?
Dog.
You can actually take a freaking studio and turn it into room and space for podcasts. You understand what I mean? So that mentality and that understanding comes from the fact that I've traveled, or when I traveled, I saw niggas who take their spaces and they use those spaces for that. You understand what I mean? There are people out there. The other day, it's Monday today, right?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Yesterday, I was actually showing one of my boys that that actually royalties are being traded like stocks. Before we leave here, I'll show you guys that. You can actually buy 111 R&B songs for like $23,000 US.
Damn. Like,
And
buy them as royalties, like you own.
no, you buy them like stock and you can own them for like 10 years. You can own the royalties to that shit for like 10 years. And then when you buy them, they'll show you the life that is left on the lifespan. So there'll be like 7.40 years left. And then there's others that you can buy for life.
Damn.
And you can own 111 songs, and some of those songs might include Chris Brown, Usher, Mary J. Blige, and the likes. I mean, for example, I think, if I'm not wrong, I'll call you back. I'll let you know. The last song that I saw being traded that is gonna make people go, New York State of Mind by Jay-Z featuring Alicia Keys. That shit was actually up for sale for like $1 million. You can own it, and it's generating like 100 and something thousand US per year in royalties. And you can own it for like the next 10 years. Niggas don't know that shit.
Nah.
And how the fuck are you gonna know that shit when you just hanging around a motherfucker that's in your motherfucking block or Satsweka block? The fuck you gonna know that shit from Otesa Tsengakasi? It's not about fucking money. It's not about money. It's about black men need to start finding different ways of utilizing their spare time. 90% of motherfuckers in the hood don't know how to fish, yet alone hunt. But niggas will tell you how to get a bitch. And a punk bitch at that. A bitch that will give it up for 6 and only drink 4. So black men need to be fixed. We need to fix ourselves. We need to start informing ourselves. We need to start educating ourselves as black men. And we need to get rid of our dependence on government and financial aid from government. We're doing all of this and we're changing the world, and we're doing music like dog. And I have a gold, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze Cannes awards from the Cannes Film Festival in France. Damn near close to a Grammy, damn near close to an Oscar. And I didn't get any financial assistance from anybody from the ANC, and I don't have any fucking radio play or anything. Why the fuck are we still waiting for government to give us any form of change? Black men need to change exactly what it is that they do. And the problem is we regard black men as the motherfuckers that are actually from 40 upwards. That's black men. Well, we don't consider black men from 21 up. You don't consider ourselves as people that can change the world from 21 up, because we have been conditioned to the fact that we can't change the world at that age when we can actually do anything. You can drink a fucking 48, wake up the next day and run the comrades. So black men need to change.
On a concluding note, my friend, what does the legacy look like? In terms of business, are you working on any business? Are you developing any projects outside of music, within music? Maybe we can.
I hardly ever speak on anything that I am doing.
Yeah.
I only speak on things that I've done. You'll find yourself being Hollywood as fuck. Whereas that somebody will speak things. Yeah, I know who I do. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. For the sake of whatever, but I hardly ever speak on things. If I'm doing something that's revolutionary and I'm doing something that is life-changing, or I'm doing something that's targeted towards my success, whether it's business, whether it's creatively, I try to make sure as much as I can that I keep it to the length of everybody that I'm working with. But Lebon, at the very same time, I keep them to the loop as far as they need to know. And then everything else behind then, I just do by myself. Because I'll tell you this, you'll get to a point where there's 4 projects right now that I can't even speak of that I'm working on, that I've signed NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and deposits have been paid. And I'm not sure whether they're being released in 2023 or 2024, but between 2023, 4, and 5, I know I'll be releasing 3 major projects. The whole point is to actually move like a giant. And you know how you move like a giant? You don't show everybody everything that it is that you're doing. So they don't need to know who you're in studio with. They need to know who you were in studio with, not who you are in studio with. You get what I mean? They don't need to know what car. They don't need to know what truck you're buying or what truck you're trying to buy. They need to know what truck you bought. So how you move like a giant is by being able to only show them the steps in which that you've taken. I mean, for example, they don't know what you guys just heard, which is like a fucking showstopper. One song.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? And another lesson I'll tell you that I learned is this from the Cassper thing was this. Celebrate. By the time the news are out there, you are gone and done celebrating it, so that you can humble yourself. So celebrate with the people around you before the news break, and then break the news. So what they see, what the world sees, is is how you were celebrating. It's not you celebrating at that exact moment. Move like a giant in silence. So one step from here to there must look fucking impossible. Don't show them the little steps. Never show them the little steps. Be a giant. And I love what you guys are doing. Fuck it. And you guys are coming up. It might be ragged as fuck. But I love it. I started like this, and I'll tell you this right now. I'll leave and go work in somebody's studio, in somebody's bedroom studio with them because they're dope. Leave, go work in somebody's studio that's in a shack. Wake up the next day and go work at Red Bull Studios with the best equipment. And it still doesn't bother me. There's niggas that are like, no, man, this is not a... Fuck all that shit. I find where the dope shit is at. So I humble myself and I don't care. I go where the fucking dope shit is at, regardless. Regardless. That's what I do. So humble yourself. I always try as much as I can to humble myself. And there's nothing that I do for... The only thing that I do online is hate on niggas professionally. And please find yourself in a position where is that you can actually send us some email or inbox me fit if you want to get hated on. We've got a company called Haley's LLC. We are there for you. If you're doing good, we will find a hater in your location for your convenience, closest to you, for your convenience, to hate on you personally, privately. We'll find a nigga ranking as soon as you buy a Bentley and you're driving down the streets. He will know, and he'll pull up next to you in a robot and say, fuck you for driving a Bentley on a fucking Tuesday. That ain't shit. Which and drive off. Please, holla at us. Holla at us. I supply this for a lot of people. Some of our happy clients include Beat Muchini, they include Tori Mac, they include Nyambo, 37 MPH, and a list of other people. Ron Epidemic. Khuli Chana is one of our new clients as well. He just signed up for a premium bargain for a premium package. Cassper still on a trial package. We're still working on that. Still thinking about it. But yes, please hate on us. Holla at us. We'll hate on you. We'll hate on you. And I will hate on you. Personally, I will hate on you. We've got fully qualified and trained haters for you who are ready to hate on you at any moment of the day.
Yes, sir.
That's the only thing I do.
Ladies
online.
and gentlemen, this has been a brilliant, beautiful, wonderful episode with the one and the only Apu Sebekedi.
Thank you for saying it like that,
Yes,
dog.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's what
Hit
the
him up
legacy is.
on all his socials. He wants you to DM him the emails and the whatnot.
Yeah.
Hit him up. This man is, it's a blessing for me to have interviewed him for the second, and first live podcast session.
Yeah.
And bro, just to end it off, anything that you want to say to the peeps out there? This is meant to be an educational, inspirational, motivational podcast. Anything that you want to say?
Young black people, come together. Let's remove the class of 76 out of parliament. Number one. Number two, young black people, let's come together and let's actually start doing things for ourselves, so that when they come to us and start talking about votes, there's nothing about yona. Another thing is, young black people, let's come together and let's find ourselves being better young black men and young black women. Young black people, please, let's come together and let's be better young black mothers and young black fathers. Even the old ones, there's still room to learn. Madre, we need to get rid of every single individual in fucking parliament who cannot recite a Tupac, WHP, or Biggie verse. They should go. If someone in parliament doesn't know who killed Biggie Smalls, if we don't get them, they're going to get us all. They got to go.
One time, that's where we ended. It's the World Wide Web Podcast. Tuning in for the next episode. Thank you very much.
Awesome, bro.
Do you go through instances where you have to be reminded just how talented you are?
Yeah, all the time. I think I had this one guy who came through to my house last year. So many people came to my house trying to kind of pick my spirits up and whatever.
Yeah.
And this one kid comes through. He started off very nicely, very cool, charming, whatever. By 8 o'clock in the evening, he's like, yo, Jabba, you don't understand, man. When your music was out, people actually validated our neighborhood. I come from a neighborhood in Texdorp. People don't think much of us, but ever since your music's been out there, people look at us as something. And since you've been quiet, man, our hood is no longer regarded as anything. People think Motswako's dead. You need to come back, man. And I'm like, dude, yo, man, I'm not doing this for that. Honestly, when I started this music thing, I wasn't thinking about you guys. I was just thinking about myself and why I love this thing, and that transcended to you guys. And all those expectations and the love, it's beautiful, but I get it when people say sometimes to worship a man is so hectic, because people worship Jabba sometimes, sometimes more than themselves, and that sometimes weighs so heavy on you. And it always comes to kind of a toll sometimes in your life.
This is one of those stories that never started. This is one of those stories that never started. This ain't one of those. This ain't one of those stories.